Here we go. Welcome everyone to All In on Real Estate Meetup. I'm your host, Aaron Goins, and I started this meetup because when I was in the military, no one in my circles talked about real estate. A lot of times we talked about the thrift savings plan. We talked about stocks and bonds, debt, and other money situations like that. And a lot of times when military people deploy and they come back, you see a lot more Dodge Chargers and pickup trucks on the road. So I started a meetup so not only military but civilians can learn the nuances of real estate and build generational wealth for them and their families. So I am very, very excited for our guest speaker today, Mr. Stuart Grazier. Thank you, Stu, for coming on here. We got a lot to talk about. Man, please introduce yourself, everybody.
Yeah, Aaron, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. So I'm still active duty Navy. I'm at 19 years of service, Navy 05 commander. Graduated. I went to the Naval Academy in 2002, and then flew helicopters for 10 years, all primarily out of San Diego, flying the H-60 Sierra. And then transitioned to what the Navy calls FTS, which is full-time support, and Army Air Force, I think they call it AGR, Active Guard Reserve, and then flew C-40s, which is like a Boeing 737, for a couple of years at a reserve squadron in Fort Worth, Texas, and then did some overseas stuff in Italy, and now I'm the executive officer, which is like the second in command of a Navy Reserve Center in Denver, Colorado. And just submitted my retirement package about a month ago. So I'm at the less than 1 year mark. And so I'm kind of hitting the final leg here. And I plan on retiring here and staying here in Colorado, where half my family lives. So love it here. And as far as the real estate stuff goes, I've kind of been an entrepreneur all my life. I've been dabbling in real estate, and I've tried about every niche of real estate I can think of. Failed at pretty much every single one of them I can think of as well. Lost a lot of money along the way, learned a lot of lessons along the way, but I've been able to find a few successes as well. So, I've done everything from just buying and owning rental properties. I've flipped properties. I've done owner financing. I've done subject to. I've done lease option sandwiches, private lending. I've done some commercial stuff, and about 4 years ago, my Naval Academy roommate for 4 years, David Gutierrez, we decided to start a business together, a real estate company called Storehouse 310 Ventures. And it started primarily because of failures. David and I both had purchased some turnkey real estate, and turnkey is quote unquote a very loose term depending on who the company is and what they stand for. And that's why we kind of started our own company. But we both had pretty bad experiences with turnkey companies. I had purchased some property while I was overseas in Italy, and purchased some property in Birmingham, Alabama, purchased 4 properties turnkey. And they were just really bad rehabs. Property management was terrible. Tenants were terrible. They were in D-class neighborhoods when they told me they were in, C to B class neighborhoods. And I just didn't have a very good experience with it. And then David, my roommate, he had purchased some property in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and they were straight up fraudulent. They were basically took money up front from him, saying that they were going to do all this different, stuff on their rehab, and then they didn't. They would say that they were going to put in a new water heater and all these new things, and they didn't. They would just pocket the money and keep the old stuff in. He caught them in that and was going to take them to court and sue them, and they ended up settling. So, long story, we decided to take, our core values, our military background, our mindset, our experiences, and we decided to start a company ourselves, where we could pride ourselves on doing the right thing all the time, and center it on our core values of honesty, integrity, giving and serving. And we added laughter into our core values because we like to laugh a lot. And we're both Christians, and so we base it off of giving too. So Storehouse 3:10 Ventures comes from Malachi 3:10 in the Bible, which is a verse that talks about giving a tithe to the storehouse. And so a part of our business plan is to give the first 10, the 10th of our profits, the first 10% of our profits to nonprofit organizations. And we choose a major nonprofit every year that we believe in and we support, and we get to know them. And then we end up giving a fairly large sum of money up front as kind of a tithe offering, hoping that we're going to make that much this year, and we go from there. So we supported Warriors Heart Foundation the past 2 years. They're a nonprofit organization that helps veterans and first responders that are going through PTSD, alcohol, chemical, drug addiction. They have a big healing center down in Texas. And then this year we're supporting a nonprofit called Exodus Road, and they're on the fight for human trafficking. They're out of Colorado Springs. So really a big part of our business is giving. We make giving goals and not money goals. We do a lot of side projects along the way. We've done some commercial real estate. We bought a mobile home park with some folks and syndicated some stuff, and we do private lending and all the other stuff in between. So that's kind of the overall Stu Grazier in a nutshell in our company. So Aaron, is that good?
Yeah, man, you took all my questions away from me, man.
Oh, sorry.
No. But that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I think that's awesome, man. And I'm just really honored to have you as a guest speaker, man. Because I love what you guys do. I love the cause that you guys do, especially with the 10% back, the tight end. And, that's something that I've talked to my pastor about myself is to tie back 10%, off of deals and things like that. So I think it's awesome, man.
Thanks.
So the first question is, why real estate? And it's a reason why. I'll give you the stats in a minute, but why real estate? Why did you get into real estate more than any other entity while you was in the military?
Yeah. And I just love real estate. I think it's so much fun to me to go and walk houses, find houses that are beat up and in bad condition, and make them pretty again. And I think there's so many areas of real estate where, again, you can kind of create it into a service, and it kind of comes back to that service and giving mindset. If you're creating a place for someone to live that's really nice, and serving them, and that's a place that a family's going to call home, and they create memories in those houses, in those apartment complexes, in the mobile homes, whatever asset class you choose. It's such a great way, and it's a physical asset, and you can look at it and say I created that, I helped build that, I helped make it nicer, and I added value to that for other people, and you can really make it like a win-win situation for so many people, for the tenants, for the owners, for the lenders, for the brokers, for the realtors. There's so many ways that you can create this kind of team environment in the real estate space that I personally don't think you can do in many other different investment assets. So I've kind of always been a real estate guy. I love all aspects of it. So.
Okay, so I've been on a crusade recently, ever since I heard this stat. I know you probably seen my post, or I've talked about it before. And it's not just real estate; it is also with the GI Bill, but it's not used a lot. Only 22% of all veterans use their GI Bill, and even worse, only 15% of all veterans use their VA loan. Why do you think that there's so few people who use their benefits like that? I think a lot of times that the ratings talk about a lot more than the loan, and the loan. Let's talk about the loan because we talk on real estate. But why do you think so few people use the loan?
Honestly, I don't think there's a whole lot of education on it. People are not getting educated early on in their careers about. I didn't know about the VA loan until a couple years into my service. The first house that I bought, I didn't use a VA loan, and I think it's just a section that isn't talked about a lot. your military chain of command, unless they're knowledgeable on it, unless they've used it, primarily won't talk to you about. They're not going to talk to you about money and investing and stuff like that. I think it's getting better for sure, and I think it's meetups like this, groups that have been formed, military guys and gals that are starting meetups and groups and getting the word out and sharing it on social media. And the world of social media has definitely helped because you can kind of spread that message far and wide. And so I think it's getting better. But when I first joined, the only way to really educate yourself was word of mouth, and I just don't think a lot of people were educating. And so I think all of us should continue to try to educate our young predecessors that are following behind us and help them learn this stuff at a younger age.
Right, right. And I definitely agree with you. And a segue to the next question. And I seen your comment, your chat thing, Bud. So don't worry about it. Here we go. Um,
Should open that up.
as you know, Bud, me, Claudia, and others are part of the Wolverine Mastermind group. Dark Blue Squad for life. But why? With our former guest speaker, Mr. David Pereira, why did you guys start the Wolverine Mastermind group, and how do you think it benefited the people who are in it?
Yeah, I wanted. I kind of poo-pooed on masterminds for a while, and I think it was just a mindset thing. And for me, it was I didn't want to pay money for joining the group, and I regret that so much because I think I would be so much farther along in my real estate career if I'd have joined a group and surrounded myself around people earlier. And so for me, I think first and foremost, it's kind of a trust thing. Having a group of there's like an immediate trust when you start talking to military veterans because of that common bond. And so those are the type of people that for the most part I like to surround myself with. And if I can find people that are in the military and veterans and have those core values, and they're also interested in real estate and bettering themselves, and they have that kind of that like-minded bond, that's who I want to be around. And so what better to and I didn't see much of that. I know there are a couple other groups, and there was one group that I kind of looked into and didn't feel like I fit. And so David Pereira and I just kind of started talking, and we were like, hey, there's not really much of these things out here as far as just focused on military veteran guys and gals. And so we were just like, hey, there's nothing there, so let's just start it. And it was just something that I wanted to really create, David wanted to really create, where we could just surround ourselves with like-minded people that we could know and trust, and maybe not do deals with right now, but maybe in the future as we continue to grow. And I have a real passion for helping people, and so I want to always continue to help people and show them and teach them and help them grow along the way. And so it's been really fun for me. I've grown tremendously because of that. I've surrounded myself with like-minded people that are doing amazing stuff, and I've seen a lot of growth from other people in the world too, and it's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really enjoy the group and the Facebook group with it, and I think that, as you say, there's more awareness now because of groups like this for military people to invest in real estate. And part of the reason why majority of the reason why I made my clubhouse room, the Military Real Estate Investing Hour, Claudia attends it all the time as well, is to spread awareness about to military people, help them out. The VA loan dominates the conversation, but there's other people who come on there and civilians who come on there and ask questions about real estate. We try to help them as much as possible. So I do think that people, we trying to spread out more and more to people, but I still think it's very few. And I think a lot of times, go back to finances, people are not taught finances in school. And don't know the power of real estate. I didn't use my VA loan until last year. And I've been out for I was in 16 years. I've been out for 6 years, and I didn't use. No one talked about it at all. But that you live and learn, and I don't want others to do the same thing as me.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
yeah. So let me ask you this. You have a podcast. What was the purpose of starting a podcast?
The podcast, Filling the Storehouse podcast, was started really as another platform to, I guess, spread our message. Similar to, kind of creating the military veteran real estate group. We also connect a lot with Christian business owners, Christian entrepreneurs. And so, we wanted to really focus on the Christian business entrepreneur. And, it's not just about real estate. It's about, we talk a lot about mindset. We talk a lot about, business ideas that come from the Bible. We taught, it's a whole range of concepts and ideas. And it was just another platform that we could try and use to kind of spread the message and teach and serve and give. And beyond that, we really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and it gives us a platform to reach out to people and connect with people that we probably wouldn't normally be able to talk to. I mean, we've had like some pretty well-known authors, like book authors, on our podcast, and we'd have never been able to talk to these individuals if we didn't have a podcast to go and have them on and promote their stuff and give them a platform to kind of spread their message and their word. So it's just kind of another way to spread the message. I don't know, it's been a lot of fun. Like if we could just do the podcast and make like lots of money on the podcast, we just do that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's awesome right there, man. And I was thinking when you were talking about that, I know you're a man of faith, and that's really strong in your life, and also you're a military officer. So, and this is a non-real estate question, but is it hard to be a Christian man of your faith and also be a military officer, where you have certain restrictions and rules that go along?
It's a good question, man. Let me try to answer it in a PC way. I think it's getting harder for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still able to be done. You just kind of have to mind your P's and Q's and think about what you're saying before you say it. I don't think you need to hide your faith and your thoughts and your ideas. At the same time, I think you definitely need to be just more considerate of your environment and the people that you're surrounded around. And just, I think if you just kind of live by the golden rule and do unto others as you would want to be done to you, then I think it'll be fine. But don't be like touting around handing out Bibles or whatever, but at the same time, like live by your faith, walk your faith, and do things the way that you believe in. I think everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason I think I asked that question was because you get tested, on a professional or personal level because of your faith,
or a business level.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, really, like, because I'm strong, with the Lord. Why am I getting tested by you guys? You want to test me about my faith and put me in situations like that, and I just find it a little fascinating that people are like that. But also on the flip side, like how hard it is, because it can be hard because you have, especially you're strong and you have your principles. You don't want to compromise the principles for nobody.
Yeah.
So.
It's well, I think it's in all walks of life you get tested on that. And I mean, there's a lot of businesses that will tout their core values on their website, but do they really act in those core values? I mean, honesty and integrity are like the core values that lots of people and businesses are going to post on their website, but do they really follow it? And if they have to write a big check to someone because they failed or they didn't do something that they said that they were going to do in their business, that's where it really shines through and really comes out is if they do they really walk the walk. And David and I, we absolutely do our best. We're not perfect, but we really tried to follow our core values, and we have written big checks to investors because we failed on a rehab, or we didn't do something correctly, and we didn't hold up to the promise that we initially had created. But I think if you do that, and if you maintain that in your business and in your personal life, I think it will shine through at some point. And not to like toot our own horn, but I mean we have failed many of times on some of our deals. We have lost money. We have never lost investor money, and we hope to never lose investor money. But we've had to write some big checks, and people know that. And I think, and people, because they know that, they'll tell other people about us. And because of that, we have like a 2-year waiting list for people that want to buy properties from us. And we have lenders that want to give us lots of money, that we don't really even have enough deals to use people's money right now. And so it's I think it kind of comes back to where if you just stick to your core values and yeah, you're going to be tested. But if you stick to that, then I think you're going to shine through.
Yeah, I think it's excellent, man. Excellent. So, you said in your when you first started that, you got into many things in real estate, and you briefly went over turnkey, but let's dig in a little bit deeper. Why stick with turnkey? What was the thing that really said, I'm gonna put my foot in the sand, and turnkey is gonna be my niche that I'm gonna go to in real estate?
Yeah. So I think in real estate, to be successful, I think real estate is absolutely a team sport. I think you have to have a team, no matter what the niche, no matter what the asset is. And so you can do one of two things. You can go and build your own team, and there's going to be a learning curve there. You're going to have to add time to that. You're going to have to add probably multiple failures along the way as well. And you can go that way, or you can buy into a team, or use a team that's already established. And so no matter if that's single families, multifamilies, lending, whatever that is, you kind of have to find a team. You're either building your own or buy into a team that you know and trust. And so for me, like my first 10 years in real estate, I didn't learn that. I didn't know that. And so I was trying to do everything myself. And I failed quite a few more times by trying to do things on my own. And to the point where, I lost a decent amount of money. And then I was in Italy at the time, and I was doing mortgage notes. I was doing private lending and mortgage notes, and to where I built up a pretty good portfolio of mortgage notes, but I owned all these mortgage notes outside of an IRA. And so I was getting taxed pretty heavily because it was just adding to my bottom line income. And there's no way to, there's no depreciation. There's no way to offset taxes on paper, on mortgage notes. And so my CPA was like, well, you just got to go buy real estate so you can offset that. And so I was in the mindset of, hey, I'm just going to go buy some single family rentals. And I was in Italy. I didn't know where to begin. I kind of like picked somewhere on the map. I didn't know anybody, and I picked a turnkey company that I'd gotten a couple recommendations from. And so I started there. Again, failed through that process because it didn't end up being a really good turnkey company. But I really like the single family space. I like the idea of single family homes because there's lots of options. There's lots of exit strategies. And most new investors start in single family. And so for me, I like to teach and help and serve along the way. And so I think that by helping specifically people in the military that are moving every 3 years, that are quite often living in very expensive locations where some of the investments locally don't make sense. So if I could help somebody else start their investment journey by buying that single family rental property, I get a lot out of that. And I feel like that's a good like entry level way to start investing in real estate. And so David and I both, as kind of wanting to help and serve, we think that that's a great asset class. And if we can do that and help them get into it, and we've seen it, we've seen investors that have started with turnkey real estate, and there's guys in our war room that have bought from us, and they've bought 1, 2, 3 single family rental properties, and the next thing you know, they've pivoted and they've graduated, and now they're doing multifamily deals. And that's really fun for me. Like, I don't want to see our investors buy single family houses from us forever. What I want to see them do is grow, learn, and graduate to that next level. And I think turnkey real estate is a really good way to start, in a really good way, because if you lose money, you're going to lose a little bit of money in single family stuff and not in the multifamily stuff. That's a long answer to your question, but
no. I mean, you explained it, because everybody has that certain niche to get into, or they should get into. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be the shiny light guy. I'm the shiny light guy, and you just jump to different things. You'll never really accomplish your goals unless you put that foot in the sand and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. For me, I like being a capital raiser, so I'm sticking to being a capital raiser. But for you, turnkey, and you have success in it, and I think that's awesome. You guys have a 2-year wait. I think that's great, man, and that's just more credibility to you guys. I get your newsletters, love them. You guys are one of the few people that look at the newsletters. A lot of times I look at newsletters, I'm like, okay, all right. Let me look at them and learn from them, because I got to start making my own newsletters. But for yours, I can really look at you guys' newsletters and I like it. So I'm open up for the attendees in a minute. Just got a couple more questions for you to ask. I should ask this at the end, but I'm gonna ask this right now because it's on my mind. Since you pushed the button, what is next for you after the military?
Yeah, I'm hoping to just do real estate. I kind of have some backup plans. They're all also involved in real estate. I got my mortgage loan originator license for the state of Colorado, and I'm hung up with a broker. I'm just on the residential mortgage side. That's like the tertiary plan if all else falls through. I'm working on my real estate license as well, just to kind of also have that. But really, I just want to continue to grow our companies. Grow Storehouse 310. Continue to buy some commercial stuff. David and I are buying single family rental properties ourselves, and we're doing kind of the BRRRR strategy, and we're putting properties into our own portfolio. And we want to just have a huge portfolio of single family houses and duplexes that and pay those down and pay off the debt, and be just kind of living off of the passive income of those, and buy some more commercial stuff. We really like the mobile home park and the RV park space. My wife and I own an RV park together in Texas, and we're really liking that. And I think we're going to put some tiny homes on it pretty soon, and do some Airbnb stuff. And so I just love all aspects of real estate. So I really just want to be continuing to grow our businesses. And we're starting. The war room members on this call are probably going to be the first to hear this, but we're starting a fund. David and I, it's going to be Storehouse Partners Fund. Where we're going to be lenders. We're going to lend money to other war room members, other military veterans that are needing capital. So we're in the process of getting that PPM and operating agreement set up now. So we're just going to continue to do real estate, hopefully.
I think that's really, really good, man. Really, really solid plan. And just expanded. So yeah, that's awesome, man. And
I don't want to go sit at an office desk for my next career. No offense to anybody that's doing it. I want to kind of have my own schedule and have that optionality. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I want to be able to spend as much time as I possibly can and go to every event and every school event, sporting event that I possibly can with my kids. So that's the ultimate goal.
Right. So you say that you and your wife have an RV park. How was that experience right there with that?
It's been a learning experience for sure. It's good. I've enjoyed it. I'm not going to sell it, but there's definitely some different things to think about on an RV park. This RV park is it acts like a mobile home park because the RVs are all owned by me. They're all park owned RVs. They're all stationary. Most of them don't even have wheels on them. They're sitting on cinder blocks. They're all old. There's a lot of maintenance that goes wrong. There's a lot of maintenance, monthly maintenance. There's some utilities issues that come up that you don't normally think about on other asset classes. But all in all, I think COVID made it a challenge for sure. And I think as that opens up and I'm able to start kind of traveling back and checking on it and digging in a little bit, I think we're going to turn it around and make it a pretty good investment.
Yeah. You know, what I like about what you've been saying is you fail, basically you get yourself back up. You know, you fail, you're learning a lot of stuff and you continue, but you're learning from your lessons. And I think that's great. I mean, you know, being an entrepreneur, you're going to fail more than you're going to succeed. And I think if you look at, I'll just tell everybody, look at Edmund's post today that he put on there. I think it's excellent post. You're going to fail. You know, I failed a lot with entrepreneurship, but that doesn't deter me. And you got to be resilient. You had to learn resiliency, you know, entrepreneur. You can't just, you know, fail and then, you know, cover the ball and go in the corner. You gotta push on. So next question for you is how has failure, and it should be an obvious question, an easy question, but how has failure shaped you with your real estate career?
Yeah, you know, I think it's all a mindset thing. It's all the stuff that you just kind of talked about. You know, if you understand that failure is actually a good thing, and not being afraid to fail, and putting yourself out there and putting yourself into uncomfortable situations where there's a high likelihood that you could fail, that mindset shift, it's hard. It's hard to kind of make that shift, but I think the really successful people make that mindset shift, and so you know, to just continue to know that failure leads to success if you learn from it and you grow from it and you make changes to it and then continue to push and continue to do hard things. I think it's the only way. I think it's the only way to be successful. So you know, if you kind of get that in your head, I think you're gonna be on the up and up.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of what Edmund said too, is that you got to find people that are alike and go and do the same things you're going to, because it can be a lonely journey. And
Yeah.
you know, finding like-minded people is very important.
Yeah, bounce ideas off of and have people to hold yourself accountable, because going and doing scary, hard things, the easiest thing to do is, you know, you could say you're going to do it, but then actually taking the action and doing it and having people that are going to hold you accountable to it, that's how you really grow. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to start that mastermind group is, if you're going to say you're going to go do something hard, well, you better have someone that's going to like follow up and make sure you're doing that thing that you said you're going to do that's hard.
Right.
And that's how you grow. That's how you grow. And
Right.
if you get around other people that are doing the same thing and you can hold them accountable, you know, lift each other up, that's how you grow.
Right. Absolutely. All right, so let's get into the time. I know we only got an hour with you, so let me open up for the attendees. All right, Mr. 1031, you're the first person to ask a question. So
I know he's got he's got a question.
Oh, I know that.
Oh, I have a couple, especially about the RV park, but this staying on theme. I know you mentioned like you see the progression from like single family to turnkey to guys graduating to multifamily and beyond, like private lending, stuff like that. What do you think are some of the key skills that, you know, I wouldn't say military trains on, but transfer over from military to real estate that guys can like utilize from their skill set to make them more successful in real estate investing?
Yeah, I think military creates a really good, really just an entrepreneur in general. I think just the ability to adapt and be flexible and overcome and learn as you go is huge. I mean, how many of us have gone to a new command and be like put into a job that you know nothing about, but all of a sudden you're in charge of it, and you got to go tell other people what to do that know way more than you about it, and you're still having to kind of be the boss and run it and own it. And so, learning that skill, I think in the civilian world is probably a lot harder than in the military, because you're forced into it. You're forced to do it. And so I think that transfers really, really well to being an entrepreneur, because I mean, there's so many things that I know nothing about. Like we're building out this fund right now. I have no clue how to start a fund, but I'm going to go and do it. And I'm going to ask people and get people in my corner and have people that do know the answer and figure it out. And we're probably going to fail along the way, but and it's scary, to go raise 5 million, 7 million bucks. Like that's scary. But we're going to do it, and we're going to adapt, and we're going to learn as we go. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
So he got more questions to ask, but anybody else got any more questions for?
I do. I've got 2 or 3 or 4. So are you located in Colorado? Is that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm stationed at Buckley Air Force Base in Aurora, Colorado. I'm a Navy guy on an Air Force base, and but I live in Parker, Colorado, which is kind of a suburb of Denver.
Okay. And are you? It sounds like you're investing in several different places at this point.
I am. Yep. We have our single family business in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We've bought mobile home parks in Colorado. We have 2 in Canyon City, Colorado, which is kind of a tertiary market of Colorado Springs and Pueblo. And then I own an RV park in Bowie, Texas, which is a suburb of Fort Worth.
Okay.
So Texas, Colorado, and Wisconsin are kind of the primary locations where I'm invested.
Okay. So my next 2 are kind of related, and I'm curious as to who has mentored you. What training have you gotten over the years? And the second one is, what systems are there? Various systems that you have in place that help you or automate your business so that you can do as much as you're doing, because you're doing a lot.
Yeah. So my mentors are books, podcasts, other investors that I try to connect with within my network. I did buy one of those courses, early on in my career, those 3-day boot camps where they charge you a bunch of money and then offer more money at the end for the special mentorship deal. I did that.
With whom?
It was, I don't even know if he's around anymore. I think it was, what's the guy's name? John Allen, David Allen, Bill Allen, the no low money down guy.
Yeah.
It was a 3-day course out in San Diego. It was like $15,000. I did it. But those courses, they're such high level that you don't really get the specific how-to steps to do this stuff. But what it did for me was it motivated me enough to go out and really try to make up for that $15,000 that I spent. And I did. I went out and just hustled and just tried everything that I learned, because I knew I had to kind of make that back. And that's kind of how I got started. I've taken a bunch of other courses and webinars and things along the way, but I think just connecting with people and partnerships and networking, and just asking questions and kind of learning as you go and failing as you go as well has been really my true mentor.
Okay. And what about systems?
And the systems. So the systems, I'm still learning systems. I'm one of those guys that just hustles and I'm up at 4 a.m. every morning, and I'm getting to the point where I as we continue to grow and scale and do more things, I'm learning and understanding that I have to start delegating things. And in our current turnkey business, we have hired people, we have a staff, and we pay people to do the things that we don't want to, that we're not good at. We have 4 employees full-time on our staff that are helping us. We do have systems. We use like a project management tool called Asana that we have like set steps every single time for every single deal that all of our team follows, and we assign tasks out. And so that's helped tremendously. And a lot of it is just kind of time management stuff that I've continued to learn along the way. And continue to try new things, but just, time blocking, using a calendar, managing that calendar, maximizing your time where like you're with your highest and best. Like for me, I'm a morning guy. So like my like highest and best activities, I try to knock out in the morning, early, kind of my green zone. And just learning that process of time management and then how to kind of task and delegate has helped me a lot. And I eventually I'm going to need to hire like a full-time assistant at some point, but I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Does that kind of answer the question?
That answers it.
Okay, cool.
So,
Claudia, no, you got a question.
I have a question. So, so as far as, like they say, like real estate is, it's really forgiven over time. Like if you stay in and build your portfolio, but like, with the obstacles that you faced and the things that you went through, like the bigger issues, where did your conviction come from that it was going to work out and like real estate is where it's at and just that force to, keep you going?
Yeah. There's been a few times where I've lost a lot of money. I'm like, oh, this might be it. I might be done. But I think just trusting in myself and investing in myself that there's going to be some hard knocks and I'm going to get knocked down. But if I get myself back up and invest in myself, that it's going to work out. And real estate is what I enjoy, what I love. And I think it could be with anything. It doesn't have to be real estate. It could be any business, any venture. There's going to be some hard times. If you're going to be successful, if you can pick yourself up and keep on going, no matter what business it's in. So for me, I think it's just really about investing in myself and knowing that if I put in the effort, I'm gonna do my best to do my best.
Bud?
All right, Stu, quick question for you. It should be simple, but not easy.
Okay. Deal.
So if you were to start all over again and have nothing that you currently have, no systems in place, no anything,
yeah,
where would you start? What niche would you choose?
Man, that's a great question. I honestly think that, so I actually started, I kind of went wonky. I started my first investment. My first investment was a raw piece of land that went really well. And that got me hooked because it like doubled in value after a hurricane went through Alabama. And I was just like, this is awesome. I'm going to do real estate forever. But I primarily got into private lending because I was deploying, I was going overseas, I was flying helicopters, and I was just kind of building up my capital. And then I was like lending it out. I was doing private money lending and buying mortgage notes. That's kind of where I started. If I was to do it over again, I probably wouldn't do that because I mean, in the normal like investor life cycle, lending is kind of at the end of a life cycle where it's like way more passive. You're probably not earning as much as far as ROI, but I didn't know that. So I was just doing that because I thought it was a super passive way to go. So I would not start in lending. I would start in single family houses and I would, turnkey maybe, but just like, I lived in Texas for a while. I would have bought way more properties in Dallas, Fort Worth, where I'm from, and just held on to those forever. Just bought single family house rental properties I wish I would have done that earlier on. And there's a lot of people that are kind of promoting, and it's mostly the gurus that promote, big multifamily right away. Stu Grazier personally, I disagree with that. I think starting big in multifamily, I don't think that that's a good way to start, because I think you need to get your feet wet in a smaller asset class, where if you lose money, you're not going to lose other people's money. You're just going to lose your own. And so getting kind of your feet wet into single family and learning how to like buy real estate and own real estate and manage real estate on a single family level, and then graduate to that bigger stuff where you're having to raise money and steward other people's money. I think you should go through the learning of single family stuff first. But that's just me. So to answer your question, I would have bought more rental property, single family, earlier on in my career.
Stu, I have a question. If everyone is okay with that, you're not underwriting every single deal as of right now. You mentioned you're looking to delegate and outsource as much as possible. I'm curious as to what your screening process looks like to be able to pass on most and only look at the interesting ones.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in our business, in our turnkey business. I'm kind of the numbers guy. I'm the engineer. I like the spreadsheets. So I kind of am the guy who looks and analyzes the deals. We've done so many in Wisconsin now where I can pretty much look very quickly at our spreadsheet that is sent to us. So we have essentially a full-time realtor on our staff, and like all the deals get sent to her, and she runs the numbers, she runs the scope with our contractor, and then she kind of puts it in a spreadsheet, and she knows exactly what I'm looking for, and I know exactly what I'm looking for. So right now in that business, it's super quick, it's super easy, because we're operating in the same neighborhoods, the same locations. We've done so many deals that it's fairly simple. On the multifamily stuff, it definitely takes a lot more time to do that analysis and looking through deals, and there's a lot more due diligence that's required. But I'm still kind of that guy that looks at the spreadsheets and runs those numbers, and so yeah, I'm it.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. What else?
Can I ask a follow-up question to that?
Sure.
So if you were investing in the multifamily class, doing the underwriting, not yourself, if you were to have someone else do that for you, what would that look like as far as salary, or would it be a point, or would it be a percentage of equity for the individual who's going to do that for you?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you have someone that's a part of your team, it's someone that's a part of your business, your LLC, that's just going to be probably just a partnership discussion of is it a 50-50 partnership if it's just one person? If there's 4 people on a team, is it 25% partnership if you're kind of breaking up the roles and responsibilities? There's actually do you listen to the Bigger Pockets podcast much?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you listen to the one that just came out on Sunday where Brandon Turner was talking about like the 5 people that you should have on a team?
I didn't get to that one yet. No.
So that that'll answer your question.
Okay.
It doesn't answer the question of like how much you pay that person, but it definitely answers the question of like who you should have on your team if you're doing multifamily. And one of those individuals is the underwriter. Like, and that person needs to be like, on the disc profile, they need to be like a high C or a high S, a super like detail oriented person, numbers driven person. And is big on spreadsheets, big on like detail stuff. And I think Brandon like has him as a person like that's a part of the business, that has an ownership in the business. And so that's what I would do if I have one person that's going to be doing that role, like they would just get an equity share in our company. But yeah, that's a good podcast. I think it's just the one that came out like last Sunday.
Yeah, they call it the divided fiver. And
The
that guy,
divided-
underwriter, yeah, the underwriter he was talking about is now his COO, because he's in charge of all the systems and processes. He's in charge of all the back work of the deal itself. So it is a good episode, because they talked about the core four first, the previous episode. Now,
Yeah.
as you scale, you get bigger, the 5 additional people that you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Stu, Fred, I hopped on late, so I missed a bit of it, but I'm getting the recap notes right now. But I'm also the data analytics guy, at my core.
Nice.
So I'm just wondering, when you're analyzing a market, or when you're looking at the numbers, well, actually more analyzing the market. When you do that, what are your go-to data sources to kind of make sure you're getting a good understanding of what's happening in that area?
Yeah. Honestly, like a lot of people get lost in the market analysis. And I would say market is important for sure. But I personally think that more important than the market is the team. And if you have a strong team that can perform and that just aligns with who you are and your mission and your values, and not even necessarily their experience, but their drive, I think you're going to be successful. Markets, like, everyone needs a place to live. Everyone is going to rent a place or buy a place, and there's growing markets for sure, and you might do better in the long run in some of those markets. But if you're in it for the long haul, I think having the right team is way more important than the actual market. Now, to kind of answer your question, I think there are some things to look at. I think that kind of the economic drivers in a market are important. I think that I don't want to be in a market where there's like one major industry, where there's like one economic driver, because something like COVID comes along and that really has a huge impact on that one industry. Well, that could really impact you. Like I know some guys and gals that have invested in some like mobile home parks and RV parks up in like Midland, Odessa, Texas, like up in the Permian, and great market when the gas and oil business are booming. But when that oil and gas like business declines and all those companies leave Midland, Texas, and there's no more RVs to rent in your RV park, you're kind of screwed. And so I would look heavily at that and just look at the industries that are there and not buy into a market where there's just one major market. And then, I think another one is just people, demographics, where they're moving to. If you look in general, there's a lot of movement to the Southeast. I think the Southeast in general is a really good place to look. Texas, obviously. I love Colorado because I'm in Colorado. There's a lot of movement there, but I think demographic movement, migration is really important as well. Job growth.
Awesome. And along the same lines, I know a common military strategy is to buy at every base you live at. So, what's your thoughts on that?
I disagree.
Sure.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. Well, I disagree because I started that way, and I bought in San Diego, California in 2005. And when they were just like handing out loans like candy to anybody who said they had income. And I bought a way more expensive house than I should have. And then the crash came, and then I was forced to move. And I lost a lot of money. That was one of my bigger failures. I think you have to make decisions based off of numbers, not on just what someone tells you or emotions. There are definitely ways that you can buy in every market if you're doing it right. If you're doing like the house hacking, if you're single and you don't have anybody to live in, and you can buy. I know guys in our war room that have bought a $2 million fourplex in San Diego, but they're single. They can rent out all their bedrooms. They can rent out all their rooms, their other units, and that might work. But I think just a blanket statement of buy in every place that you're PCS into, I don't think that's a smart move.
Thanks.
I see Angel said, I have military friends that are incredibly successful buying 2 houses every PCS, one to live in, one as a rental. I think that's great. We've had an upcycle for a long, long time. But if we have another crash or just a flattening, again, like, I mean, if you're buying in Hawaii and, there's a decrease, then I think you're going to be in trouble. Because as soon as you move and you have to rent it out and your rents aren't covering your mortgage, that's what's happened to me. I mean, I partnered with another buddy of mine and we bought an $800,000 house in Pacific Beach in San Diego. And when we PCS'd, our rents, even renting by the room, didn't cover our mortgage. So I was losing personally $500 a month as a young lieutenant JG in the Navy, and I couldn't afford it. So I think you just have to be smart about it.
Absolutely. Maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Edmund, you got anything?
Stu, I had one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Marcellus, what's up, brother?
Good.
Hey, Stu, thanks again for taking the time to talk. Really appreciate it. I had a quick question, just kind of, I admit this is kind of more selfish, but just the Colorado market. Obviously, Denver, a lot of the Front Range has been pretty crazy to get into. Yeah. Where do you foresee some areas of potential growth? I was looking in the Western Slope. The West Slope this weekend. I was just wondering if you had any opinion on future areas of growth in the state.
Yeah, man. So we bought a mobile home park in Canyon City, Colorado. That area has been booming. It's been growing incredibly. I know Pueblo has grown a lot. It's still somewhat affordable. The word is out though, for sure.
Right.
And I mean, I think if you can get into tertiary markets that are still somewhat affordable around the major metroplexes, even going out east of like Aurora, like going out east of that, like kind of out into the flatlands, there's a lot of smaller towns that are starting to really build a lot because it's just like Denver and Colorado Springs are getting to where it's just not affordable to live anymore. And there's still a ton of jobs and a ton of growth. And so like we're seeing people that are living in Canyon, like our mobile homes that we're rehabbing in that park are renting for like $1,400 a month, which is a lot of money for a mobile home. And these are like professionals that are living in mobile homes and they're commuting into Colorado Springs.
Wow.
Because like, a tiny little like studio in Colorado Springs is just as much or more.
Right.
So, I think Pueblo West, Colorado City, Canyon City, Florence, kind of going west, that direction is really good. And then also going north of Denver, there's a lot of people buying up in Greeley, Longmont, and continuing to go north up to Fort Collins. Fort Collins has grown a lot too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
I think Denver and Colorado Springs are totally overpriced now. I think the only way to make Denver and Colorado Springs work is like the house hacking or renting by the room, because they kind of shut down Airbnbs as well.
Yeah, I heard that this weekend.
Yeah. So I think you got to get into those tertiary markets and maybe even in, like, I know some guys that are doing like small mountain town communities and put them up on Airbnb, and they're doing really well.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Real
David's
quick
raising his
question.
hand.
Stu, are you open to being contacted or
Oh yeah,
by
of
those
course.
of us here? Could you put
absolutely.
your information in the chat?
You got it. Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, so if you just want to look me up on LinkedIn, for sure. And I started to try to look people up on LinkedIn and connect with folks, but if you just look up Stuart Grazier, that's easy, and then I'll give my email address.
Any more questions for Stu before he departs?
Uray. Yeah, I've heard Angel posted Uray. That I've heard. I mean, I've never been to Uray, but I've heard it's amazing. I've heard it's beautiful.
Yeah, we were just out there for the 4th too.
Oh,
So
were you?
yeah, that's why I'm kind of looking for that for personal / investing reasons, trying to get some land out there.
Yeah, so I was actually just yesterday. I was there's a tiny home builder in here in Denver, and I'm looking to buy some tiny homes for our RV park in Texas. But we started talking about an RV park in Pueblo, but then also out that direction as well. So yeah.
Awesome.
What else? Anything?
Maybe well, I mean, Stu, man, you went over your time, man. So I mean,
My wife's gonna be mad at me, but that's all right.
Man. Well, look, man, we're gonna wrap this up, man. I don't want you to get in trouble, man. I just appreciate you being on here, some time with us, man. And
yeah,
you know, you brought back some old faces like my man Bud, man. You know. So yeah, because I know he's busy. He has a lot of mentoring that he does on Thursdays, man. So yeah, man, it's good to see Bud on here.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. And hopefully I helped, and I'm happy to continue to help in any way possible.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. So let me go to roll call, and then it's up to you. You want to stay on for breakout rooms? I know you probably got to go, but that's next. So roll call is when I talk about different military groups or civilians because we do have newbies on here. So let's start off with the Wolverine Mastermind group, as we talked about before. So as you see, a couple members on here, as far as like Bud and Claudia, myself, of course, Stu, David Pereira, a guy named Kenneth Hines. I don't know who he is, but he's part of the group as well. And as Stu said, it's a great group of military and veterans that come together to talk about real estate and life. And it's a really good call. Now, Stu, I will tell you this, man. I cannot make those 5 o'clock calls, man, on Saturdays, man. It's tough for me, man. It's tough for me, and I'm not trying to advocate for you guys to move up, but it's just tough for me on Saturdays to get up that early. But I love the group and things like that.
Yeah, I know some people aren't morning people for sure.
Yeah, I'm getting to be a morning guy. I gotta be a little more disciplined going to sleep, but yeah, I definitely understand and know the value of getting up early and to take care of business early. So let me ask you this before I get to the next one. But what time you go to sleep in the morning at night?
Sometimes like 8 o'clock. Sometimes I crack. It's funny you asked that. My wife actually took a video on last Friday. I was in bed at 8 o'clock and passed out at like 8:15. It was so light outside, and yeah, she posted, of course, on Facebook, thinking it was funny. But I'm an early to bed, early to rise. I would say like 9 o'clock is about the latest that I go to sleep. That's about when I'm hitting the sack is 9.
Yeah, my girlfriend makes fun of me because I try to go to sleep early. Oh, why are you not staying up? I'm trying to go to sleep, man, so I can get some sleep up in the morning time and be productive. So if I don't get a lot of sleep, I'm not productive the next day. So
I'm a 9 p.m. And 4 a.m. wake up.
Okay.
It's pretty much every day.
All right, man. So let me get you off of here. let me finish roll call and I'll please. So another good group for military is ADPI, Active Duty Passive Income. As you guys know, we had Mike Foster on here a couple of weeks ago. Go to their podcast, ADPI podcast. That was the first really podcast that really got me to real estate was that podcast. So go to ADPI. They have a lot of different groups on there, like Operation Adam. They have a multifamily mastermind group they have on there as well. So check out adpi.com. As Stu said, check out his podcast, The Storehouse, 310 Storehouse. So that's a great podcast to listen to.
Shameless plug. Sorry.
Who's that? Yeah. So check out his podcast. Great listen. White Feathers is another great real estate, military affiliated real estate group. Check out whitefeathers.com. And also Bill Allen's 7-Figure Flipping. That's a great one as well. And his Veteran Live is, that's how I met Kenneth and Michael Barnhart, Susie, and a lot of other people was through that Veterans Live that he had already. All right, let's go to civilians. I'm gonna hurry up a little bit, but biggerpockets.com. Check out Bigger Pockets. Have a lot of different podcasts, a lot of different information that you can go into and learn a lot for for real estate investors. Another group I can talk about is Make Real Estate Real with Jamal King. It's a $1,000 course where you go A to Z in all things real estate. And there's a lot of other groups you can join. If you want information, please contact me for anything. So I'm going to stop recording.